we're going to start putting the 1.8 Mazda Miata together, and cleaning it up because it's dirty as all get out. So let's get it. So I just got done giving this thing a bath. I washed this head, the main part of the engine, the body, and then the intake sitting right over here. So since we got all that cleaned up, we're going to start taking apart this head right here, as in trying to put new seals all the way around. So I ended up getting the cam gears off the front side of this car. So next we're going to remove these two bearings right here, or not gaskets, O-rings, or whatever you want to call them. Going to remove those, and the trick is you get a screw, if I can grab it, oh my goodness, grab it, and you do not try to hit the metal right there. You drill the screw in right there, and then you grab pliers and pull it out, but try not to touch that metal right there or it's going to mess up. So I'm going to do that, not show y'all. I figure you guys are smart enough to do this. So I'm going to move on and do it, and then come back with y'all once I have them installed. So after explaining everything to that, I got everything bolted on, and then I forgot to put the timing cover that helps you do the timing, because that has the I right there and the E for exhaust. So I forgot to put that on. So now I'm taking the timing gears actually off, so I can slip this back on behind it, and then we'll put it back together. So taking a little bit longer than what I thought, but now we're getting working, or putting it back together the way it should be with this. So after that last clip, I had to wait a week. So I was gonna put on the water gasket or the water pump, and I did, and then something bad happened. Well, not bad, it's just I had to wait a while. So let me show you what happened. So this is the water neck on the return side after it's all cooled. So I was about to put this on my water pump, and then as you see right there, this is not on it. Well, there's a gasket that sits right there. I'll put my thumb, so right there. And it's that right there, but it's a special order part, so I had to wait, go on eBay, order it, you know. So I ordered it, and I'm gonna throw it on to my car. It wasn't probably gonna hold any water pressure anyways if I didn't, you know, put this new gasket on. So I'm gonna put this new gasket on, put a little RTV on the back side of this, just because it's chewed up a little bit, as you can tell from the dark spots after I cleaned it. I'm gonna put a little RTV on it and bolt it on there, and then we'll start probably bolt on the head. So I got the water neck put on this side at least for the return. Looks pretty good. I ended up putting RTV on both sides just to make sure it seals. I don't trust those paper gaskets that much, but that's just me. And it makes it easier when you're putting it on, because that's something to stick to. So I think that'll stick. This slid right back on. I ended up cleaning this, so I pulled this neck, here cord neck, if I'm not mistaken. I pulled this off just so I could clean this, and as you can see from the last clip, it looked a lot dirtier. Took a little bit, took about 20 minutes, and cleaned it all up. But next we're going to be putting the timing gear on there. It shouldn't be that hard, so let me get to this, and I'll get back to you once I figure out a couple things. So I figured out, I thought for a second there needed to be a plate right here, but there doesn't, so I'm not going to put the plate on there because, well, there's no plate needed. So the main thing about this is to put this gear on properly is to line up that little divot right there and that divot together, and then put this wood wheel key on it. So this key right there, it holds it together, and then it also turns the front crank pulley, because there is a slot right there. So you don't want to put this in all the way, or it will slip a little bit, and well, that's not good. So I'm gonna end up putting this in and then show you the results. So as you can tell, the wood wheel key is in, It sticks out pretty far just so the front crank can have something to grip onto. So it's in there pretty well, and it holds on. So I did give it a couple taps with a hammer, just make sure it's in there. It's going to be hard getting it back out, but it's on and it's not going anywhere. So that's a good thing. Next, we're probably going to apply some stuff. It's high temp. Let me look at it real quick. It's copper spray. So what I'm going to put this on is because I have a metal head gasket and never really put a metal head gasket on. So might as well put some copper spray on there and let it set, and then prep the bottom end and the head of my engine. So I'm going to end up prepping that currently and get it ready. So I cleaned everything off with well, brake cleaner, and then cleaned the head off, the body of the engine, and sprayed the copper head gasket. I wait about 2 or 3 minutes just to make sure it's all cleaned up. And now I am gonna put this on, put you guys on time lapse, and put the head on. So I ended up getting the head put on. I was having difficulties, as you can see from that last part. It's just hard doing it by one person. I ended up doing it with, you know, little issues, but no big deal. I ended up getting the studs in there also. The head studs, or bolts, I should say, head bolts. So I got the head bolts all up in there. I don't have them torqued to spec, but I have them tightened down just to seat the gasket on there properly. So as you can tell, the gasket's on there. So I'm gonna let this sit for a second and then get back to it and torque down the head bolts. So after that last clip, I then realized I did the head gasket wrong. Or not wrong, I forgot a piece. There's an alignment tool that's supposed to be inside the engine or placed in there, as you can see right here. It's supposed to sit on the front or back, and well, I didn't put one in, or when I pulled this head, I didn't grab it from the other engine. So now I am going to take this off, try to save the head gasket. If it's not warped or messed up, I am going to put this in there and hopefully it works. But let me get to this, pull this head off, and well, install this so we can get the head on there correctly in the head gasket so it sits properly. I'll show you once I pull the head. So after I took the head off, which was pretty simple, just make sure I didn't, you know, warp or bend the gasket, I realized that it wasn't properly sealed. If you look right there, there's oil leakage, and then also right here, you can see in this area, it didn't seat all the way properly in right there. And it might be just from me pulling it, but I wanted reinsurance. So luckily this is a metal head gasket, so I am going to degrease it with probably brake cleaner, which is probably the best solution, and redo the head and the head, and then the pistons or the main body of the engine. So I'm going to take this off slowly because, as you can tell, well, it's stuck on there in some areas, but then like right here it's not that sticky, like right there. So slowly take this off, clean it, wipe it down, and then put the, what's the name of it? I'm going to put this stuff back on there, the copper spray, which is supposed to be help with adhesive or adhere to it, especially with metal on metal. So let it sit for a little bit and then put everything back on, and make sure I put both of these pins on it, or seating holes. That helps it seat. But I'm not going to put it on the actual head. I'm going to put it on the engine block to make it easier for me to actually assemble it, or put the head gasket, make sure it sits on there perfectly, and so I can just sit the head on the engine block. So I'm going to work on this a little bit. It's going to take some time, then I'll get back with you all. So after I got everything cleaned up, this came out perfectly. I ended up pulling the actual, I still have pieces of stuff on there, but anyways, So I ended up cleaning this off. It came out beautiful. I used a different brake cleaner, the O'Reilly's brand. This other one that I was using kind of leave like a residue that I didn't like. So I pulled the pins out, put them in. As you can see, both pins are in. Clean that up. Looks ready to drop. And then I cleaned the actual head gasket up. I can't find the damage, but there was a little tweak in it. But it should seal up anyways. I'm 99% sure, or 98, or whatever you want to say. So I'm gonna spray this down, let it sit for a little bit while longer. Hopefully these heats from the light will go into this, so it'll dry up a little bit quicker. Because you're supposed to wait probably about 3 minutes or whatnot before you actually set it on there. So I'm gonna spray both sides and then drop the head on again. So we'll see how this goes. As you can tell, I got the head all put on and I got the bolts fitted in there and a little bit tightened down, not all the way. The only problem I had doing this was this little piece right there. As you can tell, it's kind of wavy and I pushed it out. It got stuck, so I kind of just pushed it down, got the bolts seated in there, and everything worked out. It felt a lot better this time, getting everything aligned. I knew I wasn't messing up the head gasket in any form. So it's a good sign. I'm happy with it. But now I'm going to torque down the head. I'm going to do it in steps because it goes all the way up to 60. So I'm going to do the steps. I already did 30, 50, and then I'm going to do 60. And when you're going to do the head for these, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's just a big loop. You're doing a big rotation in the sense. So I'm going to do that. Going to torque down the head to 60 pounds. So I got the head all torqued down to 60 foot-pounds. And I got a little bit worried, especially on this first bolt. It just started slipping just slightly where you think it's about to break. And then the torque wrench, torqued and let me know that it was set. So did that, 60 foot-pounds. Actually, I did 61, a little bit over torque, but it's going to be on there for good. Next, I'm going to be replacing, these head bolts, where the actual, not head bolts, oh my goodness, where the exhaust side comes out of, where you put not the intake manifold, but oh my goodness, I can't think, but where the headers, where the headers bolt up to. So when I got this head, these fell out, like the bolts didn't come with it, or like this head I got from a junkyard, so when I took it off, these came out. So I am currently taking these off of my other head that I've located over there, so let me go over there so I can show you what I'm doing and how I'm getting these out of the old head. So if you look over here, here's the old head that's really nasty, just disgusting altogether, where I need the exhaust bolts or nuts or whatever you want to call these, studs. The studs. So what you do to get these off is you take one bolt and you start threading it on there. We'll start on this one. Try to do it left-handed when I'm right-handed. There it goes. Well, that's not one to thread on, but let me grab my wrench and oh my goodness, there we go. And start threading it on. This one's just going to be a pain. Thread it on. There it goes. So you thread it on most of the way. Then you take another bolt, or nut I should say, and thread that one on. And you thread it on about halfway on, and then you back this nut up, the first nut you put on, you back it up all the way. So after that, take your vice grips, put it on that first bolt or nut, and start twisting off. And it will rotate the whole entire stud off. So that's what I'm doing right now, and you don't mess up the threads. So that's what I'm doing right now. I just need to get 2 more of these off, and then I'm going to clean them up and put thread locker and put them in there. And I'll show you how to put them in there. It's practically the opposite of what we just did. So that's going to be all for today. We got the head put on the Miata, which is pretty awesome. I'm excited that it's on. Next we're going to probably work on the intake and getting it bolt on. I don't have that spacer that Flying Miata makes, but plan on ordering it here soon or soon enough. And then after that, it's practically slamming everything together, timing, and putting the car back together. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. And remember, never give up.